for our next speaker, Miss Julia Maciel is a diplomat serving in the permanent mission of Paraguay to the United Nations in New York. She's a member of the UN's General Assembly working on issues relating to women and youth. A frequent lecturer on public policy of Paraguay and international universities, she also coordinates the youth exchange program for the Rotary Club and an orthopedic bank project and numerous international humanitarian agencies. Please welcome Miss Julia Maciel.
Good afternoon to everyone. And as my colleague said, I'm really happy to see not only women, also men that honor us. First of all, I would like to, more than a presentation, what I'd like to do is to share a few things with you. I might even become emotional. So if my voice comes and goes, I hope you forgive me. I would like to thank for this opportunity. I would like to thank Dr. Hyun Jin Moon as a chair, Madam Chair of the foundation, and all of you for giving me the honor and the opportunity to share with you this afternoon. As our coordinator just mentioned, sometimes we have papers. So I'd like to start by reading what it says, what is gathering us here today. It says, Women in Leadership Toward an Ethic of Compassion and Cooperation. And I don't know how many of you already read this booklet, both sides. I took the time to read. I don't know who prepared it, but it's excellent. So if you allow me, I would like to go on and say, who are global peace women? Who are you? It says they are mothers, wives, sisters, daughters, grandmothers who look around them and decide to do something. They are using their talents, their abilities, their knowledge, their strength, their assets, and their creativity to find solutions where others see only problems. They include every woman of every faith, of every nation, and who wants to improve somehow the situation in our world. They work in every sector of society. I'm an architect, but now I'm a diplomat. From grassroots to national and international, I went through all those levels. Today, I am at the UN, but I know all these levels. And now I would like to quote some phrases, sentences from the message from Dr. Hyun Jin Moon that really got my attention. It mentions here, as every prophet has told us, peace is the desire of God and humanity. I want you to keep that in mind. And then in another paragraph, she mentions, some people think that politics is the path to peace. Others, that it will only happen through economic growth, economic development. Still, others think and believe that education is the magic key. In Global Peace Women, we believe the path to peace is through the heart, through the faith, and through service. I wanted to share this with you because I went through all those stages. I am a product of cooperation, international cooperation. I have been very blessed to have the education that I have, thanks to the international cooperation. Through full grants, I was able to study in the States, to get a master's degree, to get a postgraduate in Europe, through full grant. If it wasn't for the generosity and the vision of certain governments and nations that pay my education, I wouldn't be able to be here or to be where I am. I also wanted to read the name of this convention and the theme. We mentioned moral and innovative leadership. What does it mean? We also mentioned unity in diversity. And I think Malaysia is the perfect place to talk about that. When we talk about leadership, moral leadership, and moral and innovative leadership, the more we get the knowledge. Here we mention about the talents, the assets, the ability, the skills. The higher is our preparation, the more we have that moral obligation to work for others. I understand that moral and innovative. Innovative because we need to use creativity. We have the moral obligation to share what we have achieved, what we have learned, our expertise, the talents that God allowed us to develop, and He is lending us to use it for our own personal and professional development, but as an instrument also for development of our neighbors, of our brothers and sisters. To build with all that knowledge, to build bridges of opportunities for the next generation. I think that is a moral obligation of any successful individual, whether it's a woman or a man. As I said, the more we are educated, the more we have the responsibility. And here I remember my father. I was the first planning minister woman in Paraguay. And I remember him saying, you know, the higher your position, God is giving you, the bigger the opportunity to serve others. The bigger the opportunity, the higher the responsibility to others. Now, I believe life is a matter of choice. What do I mean with this? Every day, we have choice. Even, what am I going to wear today? You have to think about it. We saw this gorgeous table, full of food. Some of them really exotic to someone like me, for example. That I've seen something that I've never even tried. And you have the choice to choose what you're going to eat, or whether you have coffee or tea, every day. So for me, life is a matter of choice. And in this aspect, we have the choice to be part of the problem or of the solution. We have the choice to be part of the people that sees the problem and complain and expect others will come and solve. Or we have the choice to do something, even if we still don't know how, but to have the attitude of stop thinking and start doing, start working. It takes a change in life. What kind of a change? A change of attitude. If you think you cannot do it, you already lost the race. If you think that it's impossible, you already lost. Now, if you think that it will be difficult, you might get it. Whatever is your target. And if you think you will do it alone, you need to start thinking about having partners. Because there are certain things, such as poverty, such as conflict, some kind of conflict that we need to have partners. We need the cooperation. And here I would like to mention again the theme of this meeting, toward an ethic and of compassion and cooperation. I would like to share with you cooperation. I would like to share with you, this is the statement on September 28th, around 11:15, at the United Nations. We had the General Assembly, and my ambassador asked me to go and sit in the Paraguayan seat at the General Assembly. And I had the honor to sit all day. It was my birthday, September 28th. And I said, what a way to spend my birthday doing what I want to do. And I was so thankful. And I listened to statement and statement and statement. And I kept this statement because, and I wrote down even excellent on it. Do you know whose statement it was? It was the statement by the Honorable Moh Nahif Tun Abdul Razak, Prime Minister of Malaysia. I learned so much from his statement. I learned so much that I started to write. And there is one part that I'd like to share with you of his statement when we mention here cooperation and when we mention unity in diversity. Actually, he mentions moderation versus extremists and how we need an attitude of moderation. And he says, paragraph number 25 of his statement, it says, moderation can be practiced at the national level, as is the case in Malaysia, by choosing mutual respect and inclusivity and strengthening the bonds between different communities and faith. All countries should reinforce their commitment to the principles of moderation, not just to religions, but for sustainable development and stable economic growth. And I say, it's so true. And then I started to study more about Malaysia, and then I found out that here, actually, people from different cultures, from different faiths, try to coexist peacefully. And I think, now I understand where the moderation came from. Now, going back towards an ethic and compassion of compassion and cooperation. When we're talking about leadership, we're talking also about vocation for service. A leader is not leader by itself. Vocation of service. And here, I would like to mention one thing that my colleague already mentioned. Service, when we're talking about service, we're talking about empathy. How do we develop empathy? We need, first of all, a humble heart. A humble heart. We need, before that, to be grateful. To be grateful is to recognize the talents God has lent us. With a heart, a graceful heart, a humble heart, full of love, then service comes. And service is a style of life. A person that has developed that vocation, whether he can be in school, at home, anywhere. A person with empathy is ready to help. If you don't have that feeling, if you haven't had that grace, because as a believer, for me, that is a grace. There is, in my belief, Jesus once said, and I'm sure all the prophets, Seek and you will find. Ask and you will receive. So today I invite you to be the agent of change, to change our life, if some of you still haven't experienced that. And successful will come. And you won't even realize. Finally, mentioning again the moral, innovative leadership. We need leaders with compassion that understand what they have and that moral obligation, that understand that the talents that God gives us is not only for our personal and professional development, but also for the rest. We need leaders, new leaders, to produce the changes in our communities, in our societies, in order to walk forward sustainable peace, in order to work with unity in diversity. I want to leave you with these final thoughts. If you put all your heart, if you put all your mind, and if you put all your souls in what you do, I'm talking about profession, I'm talking about anything you do, because our talents are different. Everything will come out well, and you will enjoy what you do. And people will ask you, why are you always happy? Because if you like what you do, and if you enjoy what you do, things come out. Things come out. So, I hope you enjoy life, be happy, enjoy what you do. And if you haven't found the key to success, which is this, I hope you do it. And as Roosevelt would say, do what you can with what you have where you are. And Mother Teresa says, run. If you cannot run, walk. And if you cannot walk, use the stick, but never stop. Never stop. So I invite you to be the change we want to see in the world. That world begins home. That world begins home. In Spanish, we have, when we talk about love, ama a tu prójimo como a ti mismo, is I think in English is love thy neighbor as yourself. It helps. And it's easy to explain because neighbor, it talks about proximity in Spanish, but also neighbor means next. So love the next to you as yourself. The next to you could be whoever, from whatever cultural background, but whatever religion. After all, we are one family under God. Thank you very much.
I couldn't help but give her a hug with all that passion. Boy, isn't she great? Julia, thank you so much for reminding us to be grateful, to be humble, to be servants, and also, most importantly, God is lending us these talents. We only have a certain amount of days here on earth to do good works, and we don't know when our days will be up. So He's lending us to use our talents to help others for His glory. So thank you so much for that wonderful message.